Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the graduation ceremony for the graduates from the Faculties of Commerce and Management, Engineering, Information and Communication Technology, Law, Nursing and Health, Science, and the Graduate School of Management. In a few minutes, the graduation ceremony will commence. The procession of staff will enter first, followed by the dais party. I will signal to you when you are to rise and remain standing. Please do not stand until I ask you to do so. May I also ask you to refrain from using flash photography and to turn off your mobile telephones for the duration of the ceremony. For the mutual comfort and enjoyment of all members of the audience, the University requests your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chancellor, the Honourable John McCrossan, will now address us.
Fellow members of Griffith University Council, Acting Vice-Chancellor Professor Bill Lovegrove, Foundation Chancellor Sir Theodore Bray, former Deputy Chancellor Ms Patience Toms and other past members of Griffith University Council, Councillor Rod Gollidge, Mayor of Logan City, Mr Derry Weiss, Honorary Consul of Mexico, members of the university staff, graduating students and other students of the university, invited speaker Major General Darrell Lovejoy. Ladies and gentlemen, we come together for an important event, a Griffith University graduation ceremony. Graduation ceremonies are happy occasions, but at the same time serious. We have the achievements of the individual students to acknowledge and celebrate, and we're also conscious of an underlying strong sense of university tradition. The pride of the graduates' families and friends is reflected in the pleasure we all feel, and the graduates' awareness of the capabilities they have demonstrated will encourage them in life's further challenges. The knowledge that difficult goals are achievable will add a dimension to the skills they have acquired. As Chancellor, speaking for myself and the other members of Council, the university's governing body, and on behalf of the university staff and student body, I offer warmest congratulations to each of the graduating students. We share in their sense of achievement. Their success is the university's success. It's a pleasure to welcome Major General Darryl Low Choi, AM, MBE, RFD, Assistant Chief of the Defence Force Reserves, and a Senior Lecturer in the School of Environmental Planning. He is our invited speaker for the occasion, and we shall hear from him later in our proceedings. A fuller introduction will follow at that time. Griffith University has grown to become one of the nation's most important tertiary education institutions. Its strength and significance come from its multi-campus undertaking in the southeast corner of our state. Its teaching and research are coordinated through a unified administration attentive to the needs of all of its 6 campuses. Its full academic programs are delivered through a large number of schools covering the broad areas of arts, the environment, business, education, engineering, law, technology, science and health. Close attention is paid to the requirements of governing professional bodies in the relevant areas. The university's involvement in the teaching of music and the visual arts makes a great contribution to the richness of our community life. The list of schools involved on the occasion of this graduation ceremony will give some idea of the spread of the university's undertaking. In pursuing its teaching and research objectives, the university remains anxious to engage productively with government at all levels, with local business and with the community. It's pleasing that in so many ways there have been concrete results. One new major initiative calling for separate mention is the formation of a Griffith University Medical Research Institute. This institute will incorporate a number of existing research centres, now to be joined by a new Centre for Biomolecular Science and Drug Discovery. The state government has contributed generously to the funding of the new centre, which will be headed by Professor von Itzstein, who is himself a Griffith graduate and developer of the anti-influenza drug Relenza. A brief sampling of additional matters might provide some insight into the complex world of a modern university. The School of Accounting, Banking and Finance takes particular pride in the strong links it is maintaining with industry to match the high level of demand for its courses. The School of Management now has extended its operations to offer management training for local community groups. From the organisational, behaviour and human resource management sector, students are working with the Sydney Organising Committee for the Olympic Games as interviewers to select volunteer workers for the Games. Our School of Microelectronic Engineering, well settled and well regarded, will celebrate its 10th birthday in November. A student from our School of Computing and Information Technology has won the National Women in Information Technology Scholarship, and a former student of the School of Law has won a Fulbright Scholarship to study at Harvard University. The Graduate School of Management has achieved very strong growth over the past 2 years. In the School of Nursing, our range of postgraduate courses continues to increase at a time when community demand for highly qualified nursing is intensifying. In the School of Aviation, our first students with Masters of Aviation Management will graduate. While it would be possible to continue with this roll call of achievements, on an occasion such as this, we are necessarily limited. The consolidation of the position of all of the university campuses, the longer established ones at Nathan and Mount Gravatt, the two premier institutions in our state involved in the field of the arts, the Conservatorium and the College of Art, the further campus at the Gold Coast, and the newest campus of all at Logan is something to celebrate. Before continuing with the formalities of the occasion, let me return again to express my warmest congratulations to our graduating students and to offer my best wishes to them as they undertake the next stages of their careers. I now call on the deans from the respective faculties to present the graduates who are to receive their awards at this ceremony. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Margaret Gardner, Pro Vice-Chancellor, Business Equity.
Chancellor, I present graduates of the Faculty of Commerce and Management who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Arts in Leisure Management, Jade Bradbury. Stacey Campbell. Natalie Long. Philip Morrison. Jodie Stone. Cameron Taylor. Bachelor of Commerce, Tufono Alamoana. Chun Kiat An. Hiroshi Aakawa. Wendy Bedier. Michael Begley. Pamela Birchall. Natalie Brennan. Ursula Brown. Brooke Cameron. Faye Cameron. Arthur Carpenter. Michael Chang. Sean Clark. Daniel Clark. Aileen Colquhoun. Christopher Cook. Cherie Cormick. Giulio D'Alessandro. Carmen Dalgas. Kerry DeRuta. Lance Duggan. Elvira Dungo. Graham Easton. Adrian Eschman. David Evans. Anna Fatius. Neil Federer. Karen Finsterl. Michelle Flynn. Copton Garn. Alexander Hallam. Lorraine Hogan. Chris Houghton. Ivy Hui. Bradley James. Suzanne Janu. Steve Kelly. Helen Kenneth. Muhammad Ali Khan. Stephen Lamb. Andrea Langton. Tong Lee. Helena Lee. Alex Long. Carolyn Lim. Pei Ling Ling. Christopher Little. Derek Lowe. Gary Liu. Jimmy Long. Michelle Manton. Ivor McGibbon. Donna Moffat, Fiona Mumford, Fiona Munro, Se-Min Mum, Sam Ong, Matthew Owen, Julie Ann Parfitt, George Batunis, Emmanuel Peters, Heidi Peters, Linda Poor, Daryl Pride, Kerry Rain, Ernie Richardson, Sean Riley, Tracy Rowenfeld, Ty Ronan, Emma Saranen, Pranani Sharma, Jamish Singh, Alison Smith, Sue Spencer, Jennifer Stockwell, Alison Strader, Kelly Sugars, Natalie Sweet, Jinho Tan, Yaun Tang, Craig Telford, Kavanti Thambia, Madonna Tung, Jackie Van Acker, Vivanti, Jin Yi Von, Mason Warner, Vicky Welsh, Carmel Wiley, Danielle Whiteford. Cheong Ho Wong. C.Y. Wong. Leslie Woods. Peter Woolley. Neville Wright. Susan Wright. Bachelor of Commerce with First Class Honours, Robin Price. Bradley White. Bachelor of Commerce in Banking, Finance and Risk Management, Nugadi Akadi. Craig Dooley. Angie Vu. Bachelor of Commerce in Retailing Management, Lisa Arnold. May Kureg. Chi-Ching Si. Darren Kerr. Stephen Lung. Darren Lynch. Lisa Maltby. Myron Meglaconomus. Susan O'Shea. Joel Olzak. Raylene Shand. Trixie Wilson. Annabelle Wu. Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Science, Dean Herman. Bachelor of Hotel Management, Ben Frugia. Graduate Certificate in Employment Law, Jan Marie Hawkins. Graduate Certificate in Human Resource Management, Daniel Lee. Graduate Certificate in Information Systems, Olivier Chimura. Alex Lung. Graduate Diploma of Banking and Finance, Kuram Ehsan. Graduate Diploma of Business Computing and Information Systems, Ken Chen. Jaya Malide. Master of Arts in Leisure Management, Justin Faust. Master of Arts in Outdoor Education, Susanna Thompson. Master of Banking and Finance, Kim Chiang. Rishi Miwa. Rossi Weibo. Master of Commerce in Accounting and Finance, Peter Swal. Master of Human Resource Management, Hirunya Yupanich. Master of Information Systems, Quan Chen. Gloria Chu. Paul Chi. Matthew Ho. Thai Ho. Chandra Lakola. Yongli Lee. Santosh Pai. Daval Patel. Michael Reardon. Hemant Taluri. Chuan Ming Wang. Xiao Wang. Johnny Yang. Master of Marketing Management, Anna Ackfeldt. Kerry Arthur. Catherine Chen. Minggong Cheng. Sopita Kotiachuan. Elaine Chung. Tingju Li. Sean Moen. Warapon Praponwong. Greg Salmon. Vince Farashun. Master of Professional Accounting, Ross Bramwell. Deborah Campbell. Hans Hamin. Shirley Lau. Roy Monaghan. Mark Peterswald. Cam Ping Yu. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Commerce and Management.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Barry Harrison, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering.
Chancellor, I present graduates of the Graduates of the Faculty of Engineering who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Engineering with First Class Honours in Microelectronic Engineering, Vincent Buddick. Stephen So. Bachelor of Engineering with Second Class Honours Division A in Microelectronic Engineering, Joseph Arico. Jason Cutting. Bachelor of Engineering with Second Class Honours Division B in Microelectronic Engineering and Bachelor of Information Technology, Richard Coyle. Bachelor of Engineering with First Class Honours in Microelectronics and Bachelor of Commerce in Microelectronics and Management, Eugene Quay. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Engineering.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Rodney Topor, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Information and Communication Technology.
Chancellor, I present graduates of the Faculty of Information and Communication Technology who have been granted the following awards. Kate Adams. David Calvert. Tina Chang. Sing Jun Chen. Nicholas Harris. Christopher Jones. Lucy Lee. Markita Parzibok. Sasikaran Putkanan. Daniel Poole. Dean Poulsen. Anthony Roach. Konosuke Shimada. Master of Information Technology and Distributed Systems, Sudeep Kundu. Zhenhuan Lau. Wanzhong Yang. Dashan Zhu. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates of the Faculty of Computing and Information Technology.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Sandra Burns, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Law.
Chancellor, I present graduates of the Faculty of Law who have been granted the following awards: Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Commerce. Callista Gill. Serena Vale. Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours and Bachelor of Commerce, Andrew Fraser. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division B and Bachelor of Commerce, Christopher Flynn. Adam Johnson. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of International Business, Mary Buchanan. Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours and Bachelor of International Business, John Selby. Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours and Bachelor of International Business and Graduate Diploma of Korean Language, Michael Ryan. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division B and Bachelor of International Business, Sasha McCoskey. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Science, Elena Mangavalakis. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division B and Bachelor of Science, Stephen Hubicki. Rachel Rangahiata. Bachelor of Laws and Master of Arts in International Studies, William Sullivan. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Law.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Anne McMurray, the Dean of the Faculty of Nursing and Health.
Chancellor, I present graduates of the Faculty of Nursing and Health who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Nursing, Troy Ingham. Christina Luzek. Amanda McFarlane. Fiona O'Sullivan. Janelle Robertson. Kim Smiley. The Graduate Diploma of Infection Control, Rose McSorley. The Graduate Diploma of Mental Health Nursing, Robin Murphy. The Master of Health Science in Infection Control, Dolly Olison. The Master of Mental Health Nursing, Heidi Hartfield. Master of Midwifery, Melissa Marriott. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates in the Faculty of Nursing and Health.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor William McGillivray, Dean of the Faculty of Science.
Chancellor, I present graduates of the Faculty of Science who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Aviation, Stephanie Brown. Timothy Maven. Bachelor of Biomedical Science, Gavin Matheson. Belinda Richardson. Bachelor of Science, Ben Baldwin. Yolanta Black. Stuart Fleming. Virginia Lambert. Lakshmi Nasi. Luke Pegg. Joanne Phillips. Sam Porteous. Jenny Tam. Winnie Chewett. Bachelor of Science with First Class Honours, Lisa Osborne. Bachelor of Science with Second Class Honours Division A, Margaret Hodgson. Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Education, Anthony Humphreys. Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics and Statistics, John DeBosey. Brendan Guy. Maurice Michel. Bachelor of Science with Aviation, Steve Hirinen. Nathan Taylor. British Aerospace, Griffith University, Bachelor of Aviation, Yuzo Araki. Graduate Diploma of Clinical Biochemistry, Tanya Kwei Noi. Graduate Diploma of Clinical Physiology, Joseph Ryken. Master of Aviation Management, Ross Stenhouse. Master of Science in Biotechnology, Shyam Kavuri. Azim Mirza. Master of Science in Clinical Physiology, Darren Smith. Master of Science in Genetic Counselling, Rachel Grigg. Chancellor, today the University is proud to honour a graduate who satisfied the rigorous criteria for the award of the degree of Master of Philosophy. Chancellor, Tian Tu Tran has been granted the degree of Master of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Science. The title of Mr. Tran's thesis is Spectroscopic Investigation of Combustion Intermediates using Cavity Ring Down Spectroscopy. Chancellor, I present Mr. Tian Tu Tran. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Science.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Greg Bamber, the Director of the Graduate School of Management.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Graduate School of Management who have been granted the following awards. Master of Business Administration, MBA, Fraser Anderson. Félicitations. Genevieve Bonney. Michael Crandon. Dennis Foley. Jack Hua. Lance Meikle. Ambrish Patel. Glenda Richards. John Russell. Sophia Shu. Renuka Sinha. Jane Teen. Gordon van der Est. Stephen Wood. Ryan Zoor. Well done, Jeremy. Jeremy Nathan. Alan Phillips. Julie Wade. Master of Technology Management, Julia Jerry. Sherry Lloyd. Chancellor, I present a graduate from the Faculty of Arts who's been granted the Bachelor of Arts in Languages and Applied Linguistics, Nathan Butler. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Graduate School of Management and the Faculty of Arts.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Dennis Lincoln, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research, will now present candidates for the award of the University Medal. This will be followed by the presentation of candidates for the award of Doctor of Philosophy.
Chancellor, I now present candidates for the award of the University Medal. The University Medal may be awarded to a graduate who has completed the requirements for both a bachelor's degree of the university and a degree with first-class honours in recognition of academic excellence. Chancellor, I am pleased to present graduates who have been granted the 1999 University Medal. From the Faculty of Engineering, Stephen So. From the Faculty of Law, Andrew Peter Fraser. Michael John Ryan. John Edward Selby. Chancellor, I now present candidates for the award of the Doctor of Philosophy. Today, the University is proud to honour graduates who have satisfied the rigorous criteria for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Chancellor, the following graduates have been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Commerce and Management. For his thesis, Dr. Bowes examined the impact of the emotional state of passengers and their time availability on shopping practices within an international airport. Chancellor, I present Dr. Bradley Donald Bowes. Dr. Gallery studied the formulation, implementation and impact of new reporting standards in the superannuation industry. Chancellor, I present Dr. Natalie Gallery. Dr. Sharma investigated financial and management practices with respect to indicators that might serve to predict corporate business failures. Chancellor, I present Dr. Devash Shankar Sharma. Chancellor, the following graduates have been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Engineering. Dr. Chowdhury examined, for his doctoral thesis, the ability of concrete beams of various designs to absorb and withstand the impact of external energy forces. Chancellor, I present Dr. Sanyul Chowdhury. Dr. Lee, for his doctoral thesis, developed a novel mathematical model for the structural analysis of high-rise buildings. Chancellor, I present Dr. Kan Kung Lee. Chancellor, the following graduates have been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Science. Dr. Gibson explored the calibration procedures used in atomic force microscopy in order to study more effectively the properties of wool fibres. Chancellor, I present Dr. Christopher Thomas Gibson. Dr. Innes investigated mechanisms governing the expression and silencing of bacterial genes. Chancellor, I present Dr. David John Innes. Dr. Lee developed and applied novel techniques to examine the electronic properties of ultra-small structures with respect to the design of new electronic and optical devices. Chancellor, I present Dr. Hong Man Lee. Dr. Yeardon examined various bacterial enzymes in the search for enzymes which might be used for the chemotherapeutic treatment of human leukemia. Chancellor, I present Dr. Trina Maria Yeardon. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of Doctor of Philosophy graduates.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a brief musical interlude performed by the Queensland Conservatorium Griffith University String Trio.
I call upon the Acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Bill Lovegrove, to introduce the guest speaker.
Chancellor, our guest speaker, Major General Darryl Low Choi, is Assistant Chief of the Defence Force Reserves and a Senior Lecturer in the School of Environmental Planning, Griffith University. Major General Low Choi enlisted in the reserves as a private soldier in the Royal Queensland Regiment in 1964. He was commissioned as an officer in 1968 and has commanded at every level of the reserve forces, including a 2,000-strong fighting brigade. Major General Low Choi has held the positions of Commander, Reserve Command and Staff College, and Deputy Commander of the Deployable Joint Force Headquarters, Land. He assumed his current position in April 1998. Major General Low Choi has a Bachelor of Arts majoring in Geographical Sciences, postgraduate qualifications in Urban and Regional Planning, and a Masters of Built Environment, City and Regional Planning. He is a member of the Royal Australian Planning Institute and the Environmental Institute of Australia. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to call upon Major General Darryl Lochoy to deliver this afternoon's occasional address.
Chancellor, the Honourable John McCrossan, Acting Vice-Chancellor Professor Bill Lovegrove, members of the University Council, Deans of Faculties, faculty, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. First of all, may I offer my congratulations to the graduates this afternoon. I'm sure it's a culmination of many hard years of work and effort on your part, but may I also congratulate your families and the supporters of the graduates. My thanks to the University for the invitation to Nancy and myself to share this occasion with you this afternoon. What I'd like to address you on is a topic that I would title Volunteerism and its contemporary and future relevance to professionalism. I would like to use this opportunity to explore the role and relevance of volunteerism in a contemporary Western democratic society such as Australia, and secondly, to explore the relationship between volunteerism and the professions, and in this regard, the contribution of the professional through voluntary action to our society in the new millennium. Well, why do I have this interest in volunteerism? First of all, in my other day job, my responsibilities in the Australian Defence Force, it embraces the provision of policy advice to the Australian Government and to the Chief of the Defence Force for all matters related to the reserve component, the part-time elements of the Navy, Army and Air Force. And in this regard, it's important to acknowledge that the Defence Force of this country and its reserve component in particular are a completely all volunteer organisation. That's a distinction that sets us apart from many other overseas defence forces. The history of the Australian Defence Force, particularly the Army and the Navy, is a proud history of the part-time volunteer. Citizens, as far back as 1800, in the colony of New South Wales, first volunteered to use their spare time in the service of their country. Turning now to the concept of volunteerism. Firstly, in defining the origins of volunteerism, we acknowledge it as one of the enduring qualities of Western democratic societies. Volunteerism is an essential pillar to the basic framework of our community. It is the heart of our valued way of life. We need to acknowledge the role that it plays in community building and in the binding together of the communities, especially in times of adversity. The concept of volunteerism has its genesis as far back as the origins of Western society itself. From those times, women and men had to cooperate just to survive in the face of hostile environments, as well as hostile strangers. Since those early times, the efforts to promote or advance some aspect of the common good have taken two forms, either individual or associal. The historical record abounds with numerous examples of individual efforts to promote the common good, frequently at great risk or sacrifice. The impulse for these acts is to be found in the Judeo-Christian ethos of love, justice and mercy. More modern associational forms of voluntary effort were stimulated by the Reformation and its accompanying movements towards freedom of association, maturing with the urbanisation of society during the Industrial Revolution and expanding during the 20th century. So we see that participation in voluntary associations is positively associated with democratic societies, with increased urbanisation and with the openness of society. Volunteerism can be defined as those activities arising out of the spontaneous private, as opposed to government, efforts to promote or advance some aspect of the common good as perceived by the persons participating in it. These people, or volunteers, are motivated by varying degrees of altruism and self-interest and choose to give their time and their talents freely. In addition to the social contributions made by volunteers within the Australian context, an insight into their economic contribution can be gauged from a number of recent studies. For example, in 1995, the Australian Bureau of Statistics study defined volunteers as people who chose to provide unpaid assistance in the form of time, service or skills through an organisation or group. For the year ending June 1995, it was estimated that some 19% of the Australian population aged between 15 and over had provided some form of voluntary work, contributing an estimated 434 million hours of voluntary work that year. An earlier 1994 Industry Commission report conservatively estimated that 1.3 million volunteers in this country contributed something like 95 million hours of work, which was the equivalent to an organisation of some 50,000 full-time employees. In other words, a company larger than BHP with annual profits exceeding $1 billion. A very similar story emerges from the United States of America, where it's been estimated that the total annual national effort in voluntarism is derived from the efforts of a quarter of the adult population, supported by in excess of $25 billion of every type of civic, charitable, educational or cultural endeavour. It has become a significant phenomenon in the American life today. So clearly, voluntary activities result in significant social and economic benefits that accrue to a nation as a whole, as well as providing considerable savings to the current as well as future generations. The overall contribution that this voluntary work makes to our sense of community at national, regional and local scales, and to the strengthening of our social networks, cannot be overlooked. But the benefits of voluntarism go well beyond these examples. Voluntary effort goes to the very heart of our society, contributing to its raw material, its social capital. Let me just briefly examine contemporary views of social capital and its relationship to voluntarism. Robert Putnam's landmark 1993 work, titled Making Democracy Work, Civic Traditions in Modern Italy, defines social capital as features of social organisation such as networks, norms and trust that increased a society's productive potential. His work of post-1970 regional governments in Italy demonstrated that successful communities became rich because they were civic, not the other way around. His work suggested that the social capital embodied in norms and networks of civic engagement seemed to be a precondition for economic development as well as for effective government. Eva Cox, in her renowned 1995 Boyer Lectures, identified four major capital measures, namely financial capital, which dominates policy, time, space and present; physical capital, which is clearly on the agenda due to the environmental movement's concern for resource and sustainable development issues; human capital, which receives occasional mention; and social capital receives very little attention. Eva Cox defines social capital as the processes between people which establishes networks, norms, social trust and facilitates coordination and cooperation for mutual benefit. She noted that these processes are also known as social fabric, the glue that binds our societies together. Importantly, Cox noted that we increase social capital by working together voluntarily in egalitarian organisations. To Cox, social capital should be the preeminent and most valued form of any capital, as it provides the basis on which we build a truly civil society. As the raw material of a civil society, social capital is created from the myriad of everyday interactions between people. It is a bottoms-up phenomenon. It originates from people forming social connections and networks based on the principles of trust, mutual reciprocity, and norms of action. It requires the active and willing engagement of citizens within a participatory community. Earlier this year in March, the Prime Minister convened a business and community roundtable, a tripartite relationship between business, government and the community, with the stated aim of building a better and a more cohesive society for the next century. In his address, the Prime Minister applauded Australia's strong tradition of voluntarism as a distinctive Australian characteristic that takes many forms. And whilst he noted the changes in institutional loyalties, he acknowledged that the volunteer spirit was undimmed. It only awaited an opportunity and a means of expression. We can look to another national leader at another time for guidance here, and I refer to those resounding words of President John F. Kennedy when he addressed America in the following terms. And he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." To the graduates tonight, this afternoon, I ask, what are your responsibilities in this regard? As new graduates, and as graduates enhancing your current qualifications, you are entering into a number of established professions. Consequently, as professionals, you will also be assuming the mantles of junior leaders in our society. But you are also the leaders of this country of the future and of the countries from where you will be returning. We need then to understand the relationship between voluntarism and professionalism, and how community development is facilitated through the leadership provided by the professions. In defining professionalism, it's interesting to note that in 1921, the Commonwealth statistician defined a professional as a person engaged in the government and in the defence of the country, and in satisfying the moral, intellectual and social wants of its inhabitants. From a range of other sources, there is general agreement for 5 universal principles characterising professionals, namely, a high level of generalised and systematic knowledge leading to formal qualification. Secondly, work directed towards general community or cultural benefit rather than to individual self-interest. Thirdly, a large measure of autonomy correlated with the recognition of responsibility towards client or employees, I say again, towards client or employers and the public. Fourthly, self-consciousness and a measure of corporate control of professional groups through lengthy socialisation processes and traditional codes of conduct. And lastly, money and honour regarded as symbols of work achievement and thus ends in themselves rather than as means to serve other self-interests. So inherent in these definitions is the notion of the importance of education and the obligation to the community. These are the 2 characteristics that are central to the concept of professions and professionalism. And clearly associated with all professions is the notion of a community service obligation on behalf of those professions. In conclusion, to all the graduates present who are entering or who are enhancing their position within a profession, I ask, what will be your role now and in the future? How well prepared are you to assume these leadership responsibilities? And noting that managers are not leaders, what will you confidently draw from your recent academic and professional training to address these challenges? I suggest that in the future there will be continued and significant emphasis on the profession's obligation to the community. Whilst this may take many forms, one thing is absolutely certain: the professions must take a vital role in and work towards shaping the future. We have a moral obligation as professionals in this regard. I would also argue that you have the opportunity to do so in two distinctly different ways as a professional in our society, namely through your mainstream professional work environment, and secondly, voluntarily through your community obligation. I challenge you all to consider how you might repay your debt to society, how you can contribute to a better society in the future, because it will not just happen. And if I conclude by quoting those words of Peter Elliott, the future is not waiting to happen, it's waiting for you to create it. Thank you.
Chancellor, Major General Darryl Low Choi, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased this afternoon to have the opportunity to respond to that inspiring presentation by Major General Low Choi. But before that, let me add my congratulations to you, the graduates, to your families and to your friends for the contributions you've all made to the achievements being celebrated today. Graduations, as you'd understand, are important events for you as you've finished your studies and you're moving to a new stage of life. They're also very important times for we, the staff of the university, because it's a time for us to pause and to reflect on how we do our job and how we may do it better. Major General Low Choi has presented a very interesting challenge to you to find a way of contributing to society, be it here or elsewhere, through voluntarism, through your professions. In commenting on this, I would make these comments. He mentioned the contribution measured through the Australian Bureau of Statistics to the Australian economy through voluntarism. A member of our own University Council, who's here today, Mrs. Yvonne Bain, played a major role in the ABS accepting that methodology, and that was her own and a major form of voluntarism to the benefit of our country. It's also interesting to note, as you come to know your university staff, and if you read through the CVs of your staff, our staff make a huge contribution through voluntarism in our communities, and that's one of the nice things about working in a university. The third point I would make briefly is that Major General Low Choi himself is a very good example of what he's had to say. So before concluding, I'd like to comment on the relationship between your future achievements and the future of your university. As you go on to the next stage of your life, and as you find a way to make voluntary contributions to your societies, and as you contribute through your professions, your activities and your actions will enhance the reputation of Griffith University. At the same time, as we here continue to improve and build on the achievements of Griffith, we will add to the value of your degree. So in that way, our futures are very much interrelated. In saying that, I wish you the best in your future, and I'd ask you now to join with me in thanking Major General Low Choi.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is now concluded. When the fanfares begin, please rise and remain standing as the Deus Party, the staff procession and the graduates retire.